So I've been thinking about something quite a lot recently. It's possibly one of the most controversial topics at the current minute in the Pokemon community, and that is, will Mega Evolution be returning in Pokemon Sun and Moon? Or will the idea be scrapped completely and will Game Freak decide to just run with the whole Alola forms thing being the new way to reinvent old Pokemon? Some have also said it's more likely that Mega Evolution won't be a part of Pokemon Sun and Moon because of the fact that this new Z-Ring bracelet that seemingly takes the place of the Mega Ring from Pokemon X and Y and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is now the new key item in Sun and Moon. Now, one thing that makes a good amount of sense to me is that can you really expect Game Freak to run with the same exact mechanic for 3 games in a row? I mean, I think I'm not alone in saying that I think Mega Evolutions are one of the cooler things to have ever been introduced into Pokemon before, but to have them then taken away from us, like a certain other feature, it's going to leave a lot of us all types of depressed. But what if I told you that it's still entirely possible that we could see Mega Evolutions within Pokemon Sun and Moon? Because I think it's definitely possible. Please keep in mind that what you're about to hear is just a theory, by the way. It's not like confirmed info, but I put a decent amount of research into this one compared to my other theories, so I suggest you stick around and maybe even leave your thoughts on my theory afterwards in the comments section. I'd love to know what you all have in mind about this topic, and maybe even let me know what Mega Evolutions you're looking forward to seeing in Pokemon Sun and Moon. Let's take a look at the trailer for the Ingenious Magearna, or that's what it was called in Japan initially. And this is the Volcanion X Magearna movie that is coming out soon to America, but has already been shown and released in Japan a while ago. In this trailer, we meet this character whose name is currently unknown to my understanding, but he appears to have this staff that has some kind of keystone in it. When he harnesses the power of this staff, however, you can see that he's able to Mega Evolve more than just one of his Pokemon at a time, which, as you know, is forbidden within regular battles in Pokemon game. With just one single use of this keystone, he's able to evolve all of his Pokemon at once. This leads me to believe that it's possible that maybe whatever kind of crystal is inside of his staff might have the key to be able to be used as a possible multi-purpose Mega Stone, or a universal key, meaning you can use that specific stone to Mega Evolve more than just one particular kind of Pokemon. Now, here's something even more interesting to think about. I know some people may think I'm just grasping at straws, but just think about this. We know that based on what the trailer for Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel, that's what it's called in English, what it shows and tells us is that this guy who I just spoke about a minute ago is after what is known as the Soul Heart, which conveniently enough is Magearna's ability. That's the name for it. And knowing that info, we can then deduct just how important Magearna really is in terms of its story and its origins. We already know that based on the trailer for the movie that Magearna was made and created in the Azoth Kingdom, that is this ancient civilization that still has people living in it in the modern day. However, what a lot of people have been speculating about is how are we going to meet Magearna, where are we going to find Magearna, and what is Magearna's main importance in being a part of Pokemon Sun and Moon? The simplest answers I can give for all of those are, maybe it's going to be because of Team Skull, who may, in the games, possibly play the same role as this evil team that you see trying to capture Magearna in the movie. The purple hair guy also gives me that certain Colress type of vibe to him. I don't know, there's something about him that I just don't like. Now, if we take a look at the Alola map, one very distinguishable detail I noticed recently upon looking at the high-resolution image of this map is that on what appears to be either the 3rd or the 4th island, there's a giant wall that surrounds this city. And this city that's enclosed by this giant fortress-like wall has been speculated about by a lot of people to say that not only it's where a lot of the new ice-type Alolan forms reside on this island, such as Ninetales and Sandslash because of the big ice mountain that you can see off in the distance, but this is also Sun and Moon's version of the Azoth Kingdom, which is the same place depicted in the Volcanion and the Mechanical Marvel trailer, as the place that has these giant walls surrounding the city from the outsiders, and it's also a sustained area that those who choose to inhabit it can inhabit it safely. Hence the reason why people are living in it in the modern day. Now, if you ask me, the similarities between the Azoth Kingdom depicted in the trailer and the area here on the Alola map that looks eerily similar to the Azoth Kingdom, this would explain perfectly how Magearna even came into the scene in the first place. It also explained its origins already in the trailer for the movie. Throughout the years, all Pokemon encounters, and specifically for like mythical Pokemon, depicted within the show are always changed up from how you actually encounter them in the game. This adds a large level of continuity, but at the same time provides for double the storyline or double the content within the same origins and story of that Pokemon. Since they've yet to change the origins of any legendary or mythical Pokemon to this point, I think it's safe to say that if they chose to introduce Magearna in Pokemon Sun and Moon the same way they introduced it in the movie, and that it was made within the Azoth Kingdom the same way, then bam, there you go. There's your location for the Azoth Kingdom within Pokemon Sun and Moon, and it's got the same origin story and everything, so there's no need to change it up for the game. But wait! There was a main topic I had to talk about today. Oh yeah, that's right, Mega Evolution. I forgot all about that for a moment. The topic of Mega Evolution is a rough one at the minute, but here's how I think it's definitely possible we will at least be seeing the ability to maybe Mega Evolve older Mega Evolutions in Sun and Moon. Or it's entirely possible that we may even still get new Mega Evolutions and the older ones might return as well within Pokemon Sun and Moon. Let's take a look at this purple hair guy again. Now let's think about this. You know how I just mentioned that to avoid an even larger amount of continuity, they generally keep the story the same throughout the anime and the games, but change up slight events like how you encounter it and stuff like that within the movies compared to the games, just to keep things slightly different and give you sort of double the content. We know that this guy right here is after Magearna in the movie, and we've also seen that he has this staff that's capable of Mega Evolving multiple Pokemon at once. We also know that this guy knows of Magearna's existence and seems to be extremely set on obtaining Magearna no matter the cost. What if it's possible, seeing that Magearna had been kept a secret for a very long time, that this purple hair guy has actually either been to the Azoth Kingdom before, or even better, he somehow obtained these blueprints for this staff-like device that he has from the Azoth Kingdom itself and then recreated it using maybe slightly different technology. That's a bit of a stretch, but that's another way of looking at it. The one thing that seems like a bit of a loose end here is something I will quickly explain, however. So how do I draw the conclusion that he's been to there before? How do I even get to the conclusion that this guy's ever been inside or has at least been informed about bigger details to do with Magearna? Well, aside from the fact that he literally calls Magearna the Soul Heart, which would imply he has to know a lot more about Magearna than just the fact that it exists to know its top secret identity known as the Soul Heart.
The Soul Heart, it shall be mine! Now go!
But if we take a look at one of the recent Japanese trailers, there's a part that features the Z moves, and this actually shows a very interesting clip in it, but you have to go frame by frame to see it. You can see at a certain frame that when the trainer lifts their arm, you can see a small circle on the bottom of the bracelet, which looks very similar to that of the Mega Ring. It looks like a keystone could just fit right in there. Now here's the interesting thing. I thought about this. If it's clear that they've shown the concept of this movie clearly taking place in like a pre-Gen 7 setting, sort of similar to how they've, done in the past with Pokemon like Lucario or other Pokemon that they've teased in the past where they show it off in the previous generation and then they'll sort of use that to tease the upcoming generation. So seeing as this probably takes place in like a pre-Gen 7 setting, like I said, the main focus is around Magearna, a Gen 7 Pokemon. So who's to say that maybe that's also another way of the Pokemon Company hinting at the return of Mega Evolution, but in a much different way than before, quite literally how I've explained it. Here's what I thought. What if it's possible that in Pokemon Sun and Moon we'll have an entire part of the aftergame, or even in the main story, dedicated to the whole idea of Mega Evolution either being rediscovered or brought up again after many years, and we'll pick it back up this time once we arrive to this place, or on the third island, which would be this like Azoth Kingdom looking place. For now, we'll just call it the Azoth Kingdom because that seems to be what this guarded city represents, presumably. So what if there was an item in Pokemon Sun and Moon similar to this purple hair guy's Mega Staff that allows you to use Mega Evolution alongside with the Z powers in Pokemon Sun and Moon? This would explain why we haven't seen anything about Mega Evolution so far. Typically, big storyline information like that isn't talked about prior to the game's release for spoiler purposes. So what if we can actually Mega Evolve Pokemon in Sun and Moon, but we can only do it with the old / like already revealed Pokemon that have Mega Evolutions? But better yet, they could still even introduce new Mega Evolutions if they had a universal Mega Stone. This also explains why we have that slot in the bottom of the bracelet that would fit a Mega Stone perfectly. This could also further explain the origins of this guy's Mega Staff. He may have built this device with the blueprints from the Azoth Kingdom, which could then again imply that this guy may have even been to the Azoth Kingdom before. This also could seemingly suggest, for the same reasoning, why he knows of Magearna as the Soul Heart, and more importantly, how he knows of Magearna's existence in the first place. It all makes a lot more sense now if you think about it that way. But here's where we currently stand. What overall supports the idea that this kingdom-looking area right here on the map is actually Azoth, the only supporting details we currently have is the fact that Magearna has been shown to have been created within the Azoth kingdom as depicted in the movie. It's also been shown that Magearna is the last known Pokemon in the Alola Pokédex as of right now at least, and that it's also been revealed in gameplay previously for Pokemon Sun and Moon. This proves the fact that Magearna will have lots of its shared origins and storyline depth that it had in the movie in the games as well. And on top of that, this speculation could also draw the conclusion to why this guy's Mega Staff is in the movie in the first place, why it's there, and where it came from, and more importantly, why he has it in the first place. Just like how presumably Magearna was the world's first Pokeball, what if this staff was the world's first Keystone evolution device? Like, before the Mega Rings were even made. Who knows? Let me know your thoughts on this theory down below in the comments. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking about it and what you have to say. Do you think that it's possible we'll be seeing Mega Evolution in Pokemon Sun and Moon? Do you think my theory is at all correct, or do you think that it's maybe too good to be true? Let me know your thoughts on all that stuff in the comments. Also, make sure to let me know while you're down there, if you could have any Pokemon to get a Mega Evolution in Pokemon Sun and Moon, which Pokemon would it be and why? Please be sure to let me know. I'm very curious to know your guys' answers. In my opinion, if I had to pick one, I would probably end up going with Haxorus. I think he would be really badass if he got a Mega Evolution. That's just my opinion, though. Also, make sure to leave a thumbs up on the video if you did enjoy it. I would greatly appreciate it. So make sure to subscribe to the channel as well for more Pokemon theories like this one and all that good stuff. And with that said, I'll catch you legends in the next Pokemon Sun and Moon video.